Alright, so we're gonna do a series that nobody cares about, or maybe some people will care. So this is the MRC thing, that annoying tournament tab. We're gonna go ahead and look at some games that happened today between some of the best teams, right? Literally like 3 teams left, right? And this Sinister Six is one of the best. How about we look at their games? So this Hassan guy, he's actually the #1 Star-Lord. And you know what? Why don't we watch him play for funsies? He had 48% accuracy. I averaged 28 with Star-Lord, which is kind of bad. Alright, let's see how he does it. Let's analyze the #1 Star-Lord's gameplay. Let's see what he does better than I do. I'm more of like a... Alright, here we go. You know, literally hits every shot. You know, good stuff here. Good some ult and actually do some damage. Yeah, they can't deal with it. I mean, I think he's about 100% right now and 61. That's great. Wow. Okay. Alright. I'll try to actually make meaningful commentary here. Alright, so one of the important things about Star-Lord is high ground, right? He's not a flyer, but he's like a kind of elevated character, right? And so a lot of people play him wrong, where they're like, oh, it's just about ult charge. Like, no, you don't play a character just for ult charge. That's just stupid. You know what I mean? You want to play a character for all the value that they get. But he does have a good ult, and that is an important part of it. But without his ult, you should be a threat. You can't just be an ult charge character. Same with Psylocke. If you're just ult charging with a character, then you gotta reinvent the way you're playing. And one of the keys in my experience of playing Star-Lord, as you can see, he is hitting the tank a lot, but it isn't. Notice he keeps getting healed. At first, he wasn't. For me, when I see that, I change my target. Now, I'm not better than this guy. No way. I'm just saying, in theory. Right? In theory, you want to change your target. If it keeps getting healed, and if the tank, you don't want to shoot the tank too much, right? And you do want to have elevation. As you can see, he has that high ground. And this does help him build ult, yes. It is a part of the character. You do want to be aware of ult charge. That should be part of your style of play. But generally speaking, you should have an eye for other targets. I'm not saying this guy's playing wrong, though. He's obviously better than me. But, you know, I'm saying in theory, you don't want to just shoot the Magneto. But he does hit every shot, which is crazy. 60% accuracy with Star-Lord. That is not easy. But he does get ult again, right? And I think he's trying to bait out the Skull Bond, right? Which he does. Pretty impressive. Baits out 2 ults. And, you know, a huge part of Star-Lord is tracking things like Loki runes, Soul Bond, ults in general, right? Because you could team wipe them if they don't have anything. And you don't want to just use it. You want to be smart with it, right? I don't know about backing up here, but I guess it's fine. Okay. You know, I don't like the ult. Obviously, he's better than me. I'm not saying he's better than... But for me, I have a kind of a general philosophy of never ult when you're by yourself, because everyone's going to work together to fight it. You got to have your team around you to, like, cause a problem, help you with damage, right? There we go. And, you know, that is more of an ult charge attack. But Angela does work well with Star-Lord because her ult, if you do the spinning move after she ults. If you do the spinning move after she ults, it will help kill them. Right. Here we go. Yeah, I don't even know how they did that. That's not good.
I'm back, baby.
It looks like they're winning the fight without him. Alright. So now they push. You know. stuff happening. They switch to Loki. Loki, Luna, and Invis. Okay, so it is triple support.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be the time.
Alright, here we go. Now he's pushing. You know, it's there's a lot of ways to play this game, right? You know, this guy's playing him front line, push tank, right? And that's okay. That's one way to play him. I'm sure he's capable of playing a more aggressive style like this, which you're about to see. You know, which is, you got to take advantage of his movement. By the way, he does not match up well against Namor in general. I don't like playing Star-Lord. I'm not saying I switch automatically, but typically you don't want to challenge a one-on-one Namor. Annoying. Because your one trait is escapability, and the more basically his squids get, you know, they can overpower that trait. Go. You know, I would have probably flanked here a little. Setting up all it's tough to play him against all these different alt combos, but it does overcome it, which is impressive. Right? Really good accuracy. Alright, they are opening the portal. Welcome.
Yggdrasil will not survive without our help. Go.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Much better.
Now we're seeing a little bit of a flanky. You know, he's not really, I don't like to claim as a diver. Right? I don't know how people call him a diver. He's not a diver. But he's like a side guy. Not behind them. Like Iron Fist is right behind them. Spider-Man right behind the other two. He's more of a side guy. Like, see how he's on the side? You don't want to be right behind him, typically, because you have no escapability in reality. Right? Like the R1, where you float away, it's decent, but it's not escapability like Spider-Man or Black Panther, who could climb walls, Iron Fist, who could do climb walls fast or whatever, you know what I mean? He's not designed to be a diver because he doesn't have true escapability. He's more of a hybrid. He can see everywhere. And plays right through the Magneto ult. That's pretty impressive. Basically kills the whole thing. You know?
I'm opening a portal.
Alright, looks like they won this one. Why don't we look
Give
at
them another inch, or else.
Alright, so we're seeing kind of the side fighting. You kind of want to rotate. It really depends on what's happening. If you feel your team is being pushed back, then you want to play on the front line. That's what I say with like, even with like a lot of characters. If you're being pushed back, you play on the front line. If you feel there's a stalemate and you need to push them, for example, if you're on offense, you can go from the side. Depends on what's happening. Do you have a healthy push on the front line? It's a very important question. You want to be aware of what your team is doing. And if you feel that on the front line your team is losing, it's very hard to play anything other than on the front line, right? Like if you play like Venom, for example, and your team is getting beaten up on the front line, and you're here fighting their healers, it kind of doesn't matter what you do as Venom, or any character really, unless you're getting a kill back there, right? Because ultimately, if your team is getting pushed back, you know, unless you're like Spider-Man or Black Panther getting actual kills, right? It's hard to play this character. He doesn't have a quick combo. He's not a quick combo like Spider-Man or Panther who can actually get a kill quickly. You know what I mean? So he's not a diver. He's frontliney, go up in the sides every now and then. You know, maybe do this, right? Now you got the ult again. And that is a good combo, right? That basically just ends the game, right? I mean, they could not deal with it. Angela is actually a good counter, but doesn't do much. Alright, and we're seeing now a nice, okay, I skipped too much. Let me go
Let's
back.
try this again.
I don't even know how he died, but whatever. You know what? We should see this. We should see this. Okay, he dies. Oh, I guess the Hela starts killing them, probably. Hela. Okay. So they lose this battle. Alright. Okay, and see, it's the side angle, right? It's like I said, it's a bit of a stalemate. Whenever the front line is, if you can kind of hold them, then you can go to the sides. Because you know, in a sense, it's like you know where they'll be. If you start going to the sides, but your team's getting pushed back, it becomes like this awkward spot where you're staying. But it's a bit of a stalemate here, where you can actually push from the sides.
I am ready to put on a show.
Kind of, I didn't like that. A little too aggressive, but whatever. Alright, so they get... And now he's gonna look for that ult charge, right? This spin move is good for ult charge. It's a good finishing move. Don't get me wrong. That's not the only thing it's good for. It's not just for ult charge. But if you see a crowd of people, you go to get that ult charge. Right? If you get you like 15-20%. Just you doing this, right? Like, but this accuracy is very good. Obviously, it's not like this is just... See, it's always headshots. Getting a little aggressive here. But you got the Magneto bubble. I don't love this, you know, because they know you're here. But he does have people taking care of him. Good accuracy, good shots. And now you see once again the side angle, right? Notice, like I said, you never want to be behind them with Star-Lord, for the most part. You can't play behind them. You don't have the escapability. You don't have the one-hit combo, right? He's a side angle guy, you know, behind the tank, or sometimes you dive in for the quick kill if it's available, right? If the other team starts collapsing, you can definitely play more aggressively, right? Because your spinning attack is a good finisher. It can finish people off, but you kind of have to like be situational. But side angle, it works, especially if you play off a health pack, right? Like that. But Angela's a good counter. But you see once again taking the side angle. Oops. And that happens sometimes, right? You ult at the worst time possible. It sucks. It happens. And then...
Let's try this again. Oh, mutant kind.
You know, as a guy who keeps trying to play Magneto lately, I thought I sucked because I always miss it. But to see these one above all players miss it makes me feel like, okay, you know what? Everyone misses it. Okay, you know, it's not good. I'm not sure why Hela and Miller are on. And see, look, what a great finisher this one is, right? Very valuable. He's kind of a character that is good at, as you can see, cleaning things up, right? Like if you're a Magic player, sometimes nothing's happening, and then suddenly you get 4 final hits. Right? That's what Star-Lord can be. He's a great finisher. And you know, if you had a different character, you might not finish those people off. So don't think it's just easy. Oh, he's just pressing one button, you know. It's value. That the capability to finish people is very valuable. And that is a good move too. That happens if you have a character like Wolverine, Winter Soldier, Angela, right? Of course, what do they all have in common? They can bring enemies to your team. You use the spinning attack once, right? That can finish them off, of course. And you know, it's not just about ult charge, but yeah, that is a factor here. You're pushing them back, you're ult charging. And you know, you don't... Gets a little arrogant, right? He says, oh, you want to challenge the #1 Star-Lord? The other guy's not even a Lord Star-Lord. I don't know what he's doing. That is just in this kind of game. Alright. So once again, the side angle, like I said, right? Especially in Domination, where there is no push, really, right? In Domination, for the most part. lot of neutral ground.
Put on a show.
Okay, forces out an ult. You don't always want to force out an ult with him, by the way. Like people say, oh, you forced out the ult. With Star-Lord, you more likely want to, how do I put this? You kind of want to track their ult. But sometimes you do have to force it out. But if you can track them, then that's more effective because his ult just kills the whole team if they don't have anything. So sometimes you just want to play it that way. And aim is good. Personally, the difference between me and him, I'm not saying I'm better than him at all, but I would be shooting these two from far away, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Like, I just like to always keep an eye on the healers if I get shots on them. You do get more ult charge from them, but it's annoying when you're a healer and you're getting shot. Now you have to heal each other. Or you become vulnerable to, like, someone killing you quickly, right? If you see a low HP healer, somebody might pounce on that. Yeah. That's one thing I learned is, yeah. You never want to do a 5. When there's, I always say if there's 5, don't dive. You know, there's 5 there, or 6. Or, you know, if I can make another rhyme. If there's 6, don't get in the mix. If there's 5, don't dive. You know? Typically, if all of them can turn around and look at you and punish you, then you usually don't want to go in there. You know, I'm better than him. But, you know, I'm just saying. Like, typically, that's the case. So now he's playing frontline again. It's like I said, guys, don't be afraid to frontline with this character. You don't always have to be doing cool stuff. And forces out the ult again, right? But nothing comes of it. They actually are playing better right now. The other team. But let's look at the accuracy here. 49%. But you know, if you're shooting the tank, you're always going to have more accuracy. So don't worry too much if you guys out there are fighting other stuff here. It's not as good. It doesn't have to be that high. That's a good shot. Yeah. Very nice. See, great finisher, this character. I think that's it. I think they win. GG.